Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of r/malicious compliance. Picky Karen does not want to listen to my explanation. I used to work at a Tex-Mex restaurant, you know the ones that charge like $12 for a taco. I had a customer come in and she asked for 2 quesadillas that was gluten-free, cheese-free, vegan-free, hell I don't know, everything else free. I told her everything we normally put on it and she said no to everything. So basically, all she wanted was our gluten-free wrap with lettuce and tomato. Okay, that is fine, but if I put this like that into the system it will be $12 a piece. I can just get you a lettuce wrap with tomato and it will be $2.25. I was even going to heat it up a little, the bread, for her. I tried 2 times to explain this to her and she interrupted me and said I know what I want. I want the quesadilla this way, and if you can't understand this, then go to the manager. So I understood her, got it made the way that she wanted and brought it out. She gave me a smirk and was like, see, I knew you could do it. That made my blood boil and I was in shock that she was so dense. Once the bill came she grabbed it and before I could walk away she yelled excuse me so loud the surrounding tables all stopped. Yes ma'am, what can I help you with? I asked. Why the hell is it $24 for my 2 quesadillas? Because the price on the menu is $12 each. Yeah, but I didn't get any of the included items. Yes, but you ordered 2 quesadillas. Therefore, that is what you got charged. She of course spoke to the manager who sided with me and the lady paid her bill, the full $24 for those quesadillas. I did not, however, get a tip. Next story. You want strict compliance, Mr. Food Service Driver, you get it. After undergrad, I moved to Texas to manage with a mostly local chain of Tex-Mex restaurants. At one of my first training stores, I was assigned a month in the kitchen to learn their BOH, back of house, i.e., the kitchen, process. As I grew up in the business and had worked during college for a large casual dining chain, I was familiar and skilled in all of the general aspects of running this type of kitchen. However, it was a good opportunity to learn the particular aspects of this company's operations. After driving from Northeast Dallas to Grapevine early one morning, I greeted the driver, retrieved my clipboard and started supervising the unload. He worked fast and had the truck unloaded in about 30 minutes or so. I knew I had a good 60 to 90 minutes left organizing, date dotting, rotating, breaking down boxes, etc., and was happy to sign him off so he could get on his way while I continued putting away the order. For reference, this is how I had always done this and never had any problem. As I am working through the delivery, I notice we are short 1 case of 20 CT shrimp. Obviously, that's quite a bit of money. But those types of things happen, and in my experience, the process was to call the vendor promptly and let them know. Most times, they would contact the driver, he'd find it on the truck and bring it later, or they would credit our order. But not this time. This time, the vendor tells me that they have a strict policy about this, and since I'd signed the order, they didn't feel obligated to credit us. I told them that seemed like a bad policy when dealing with a restaurant that was doing around $70,000 a week in sales, this is 1995, and paid promptly. They didn't seem to care. So next week, I again meet the driver on delivery day. Everything was going pretty much the same, except this week, when he handed me the delivery form to sign, I informed him that since we were short last week and his company didn't want to work with us, I wasn't signing anything until I had everything counted, and I couldn't count everything until I worked through the large pile. Since he couldn't leave without getting a signature, he got to stand on our back dock until I was done. I may have been a bit extra thorough counting and organizing that day, because he was fuming when I got back to him about 1.5 hours later with a signed form. I assumed that has made him late enough to miss several deliveries that day, as many restaurants won't accept delivery between 10 and 2 p.m. But I know he was late to several stops because his company called me the next day and said that they couldn't work this way. They quickly agreed that if we cooperated and acted in good faith on future orders, they would return the favor. We received credit for the missing shrimp on our next delivery. Next story. Extra onions. This happened years ago. I was working at a McDonald's on a highway rest stop as a teenager over the summer. I was making the burgers in the back when a belligerent customer came up and ordered a cheeseburger with extra onions. He made sure to emphasize I want extra onions loudly and repeatedly and banging his fist on the counter because last time he ordered extra onions there wasn't enough onions on it. My manager overheard the order as well because the customer was being loud and rude to the cashier. I looked over at my manager and he gave me the nod. He knew what I had in mind and that he would have my back. Cue malicious compliance. Standard cheeseburgers are supposed to have a little sprinkle of this diced onion mix. I proceed to pile on about a cup of diced onion on top of the burger. To keep it from spilling off the burger, I alternated a slice of cheese between 1/2 thick onion layers, so a total 1 1/2 thick layer of diced onion and cheese ended up on this burger along with the other toppings. I microwaved it so the melted cheese fused with the onions to keep it all together as best as possible, wrapped it up carefully and put it out for the cashier to pick up. It was as tall as a Big Mac and weighed 3 times a normal cheeseburger. The cashier picked it up and her eyes grew wide as she hesitantly bagged it, glanced at the manager as he waved her on, and walked back to her register. The customer snapped the bag out her hand and says, "This better have extra onions on it or I'll be back." We watched the guy grab his condiments and napkins and head to the seating area, so the manager stayed at the counter waiting for any blowback. It wasn't busy, so we sent a staff member to go check on the napkin station that was near the guy to see his reaction as he opened up his onion burger. Sure enough, he unwraps the burger, looks at it inquisitively as onions and cheese spill out the sides, does a little nod and smirk like this was exactly what he was looking for, and takes a huge bite out of it, chews a couple times, his eyes then go wide and realizes his mistake and immediately spits it out onto the tray. He sits there sheepishly for a few moments with an embarrassed look on his face while he inspects the burger more closely, and you can see him ponder his next move while he drinks his soda and munches on fries. He tries scraping off some onion onto the wrapper, but the cheese and other toppings are coming with it, basically left with a plain hamburger and bun. He tries unsuccessfully to reassemble the burger with less onion and some of the other toppings, but it was a big pile of onion/ketchup/mustard/cheese with a single pickle. He takes another bite, then throws it down on the tray in disgust. He finishes his fries, tosses out the burger in the trash, and we watch him leave in embarrassment. He doesn't even glance back to the counter on his way out. Next story. You need to share the run, no wuckas. I worked at a furniture delivery place a couple years back. I did a 420 kilometers trip to a truck stop and waited to swap trucks with another driver, then made the same trip back. Give or take 850 kilometers in total. I did this Mondays and Tuesdays with the occasional Wednesday. One of the boys gets annoyed and speaks up, saying why does he get the easy job? All he does is drive. I want to have a turn. It's not fair he is the only one to get it every week. Managers get pissed, tell me I need to switch and be fair with the rest of the drivers and not hog the easy run. All good. I told him go for your life. What he didn't realize is there is literally nothing to do other than pull over for a 5 to 10 minute break and your lunch. You can't cruise like if you were an off-sider. Most crews had 2 to 3, one being a designated driver and the others being labor. You'd chill in the cab, sometimes have a nap and wait till the next location and maybe move 3 items max per job and build a couple. It was a total of 8 to 10 hours driving. I've always loved long drives. I love long airplane trips and stays in hospital. I'm just weird. I chuck on my music and go about it. I don't need to interact with people. See, all the other boys had done the run before. No one liked it. You got far more breaks actually doing deliveries and the such. Had he asked me about it, I'd have told him, but since he got pissy, I just decided to set the navman up for him and move on. He lasted 1 round trip. The moment he got back to the yard, he said, "This is crap. You can have it back," but I said, "Nah, I like this more. You told them you wanted the run, you can have it." He took me out for a night on the piss and I got the run back, lol. Next story. Break it on purpose? Sure, we'll replace it. It took place approximate 10 years ago. Background: I worked at a GameStop when GS was still pretty hot. At that point in time, we were forced to ask if people wanted to buy a small insurance on every disc we sold. It covered all damage. If people came back with a disc with insurance, we replaced it, no questions asked. Scene: it like 20 minutes till close on a weeknight. I'm doing as much close prep as I can get away with when Dutchbag and his friends enter the store. Obviously bored and just wasting time, but since I'm alone in the store, I greet them and let them look around for a bit. D brings up a game to the desk and I ring him up. "Would you like to buy insurance on this game? We cover all damages. In a split second, he lights up like he just had the most genius idea in the world. D. All damage, even if I break it myself, on purpose? Yeah, I can see clear as day where this is going, and so can his friends, who start chuckling. I play along. Me, yup, all damage, no matter what. No questions asked. He buys the insurance, I bag it and hand it to him, and they walk literally just out of the store before stopping. D pulls out the game, takes out the disc, and looks me straight in the eye while he snaps it in half. His friends are dying from laughing. I'm just smiling politely. So he walks back in, hands me the game and goes, "This is broken, I'd like a new one." Malicious compliance. See, our system would warn us in the corner of the screen if we sold the last copy of something. That disc was the last one we had in the store. Me, of course. Unfortunately, I do not have any more copies in store, so I have to have it shipped from one of our other locations. They close in 5 minutes though, as we did, but I will leave a note for the manager to put in a transfer order. It should be here in 3 to 5 workdays. If you write your number here, we will call you when it arrives. His friends are wheezing from laughter at this point because it becomes obvious that D totally played himself and now have to wait a week for his game. Lesson: be nice to retail workers. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.